the new experiment over at CBS Evening News is going to fail. I tweeted this out when Tony Dokoupil, the new CBS Evening News anchor, who no one's ever heard of, tweeted out like, we're on a new mission and we are going to not, we're going to listen to you. Here's a little sample of what he said in SOT 42.
People do not trust us like they used to. On too many stories, the press has missed the story because we've taken into account the perspective of advocates and not the average American. Or we put too much weight in the analysis of academics or elites and not enough on you. I have felt this way too. I felt like what I was seeing and hearing on the news didn't reflect what I was seeing and hearing in my own life, and that the most urgent questions simply weren't being asked.
Okay, nice. Good try. It's going to fail. CBS Evening News will fail. CBS will not be turned around by Barry Weiss or anybody else. I'm sorry, but its days have passed. CBS was never, for the past 2 decades, seriously in the running for dominance in the morning or the evening or any place else in the lineup. It was living off of its legacy from the Walter Cronkite years, which Dan Rather maintained for some semblance of time, and then he imploded over fake documents during the Bush administration when he was running for office, when George W. Bush was running for re-election, that had been misrepresented on 60 Minutes. In any event, CBS News has not been relevant in forever, and it doesn't matter who they put in the evening news chair or how late in the game they've realized that none of us trusts or, more importantly, needs them anymore. So you can take your suit coat off. You can act like Joe Friday, my buddy, who's just going to be there trusting me, the consumer, and what matters to me. It's too late. You should have talked to Jonah Kaplan and others like him about how to report on real stories before you tried to sell us this line of bullshit and clasp to some last gasp of relevance at a time in which the world has moved past the dinosaur that is evening news.
Well, Megyn, how can I add to that? That was the Gettysburg Address of condemnations. The fact is that when he says that he's felt sometimes that he can't trust the news, it so vastly understates the problem that it feels like a fraud in itself. These are people who went every day to the White House, to press conferences, to other events, who are stationed there and couldn't tell us that our president had dementia. These are people who claimed that Donald Trump was a Russian agent, despite no proof and still no proof. These are the people who claimed that, the withdrawal from Afghanistan was somehow not the absolute deadly debacle that it was. That it's not that they've sometimes gotten things wrong. It's that they always get things wrong, and they get things wrong in a big way. And they did it through COVID, and they did it through the first Trump presidency. And they have done it right up until this very moment with this new big story, which is the defrauding of the United States taxpayer by a vast array of social welfare schemes that aren't helping anyone except politicians, gangsters, and foreign recipients and gangs.
Yeah. Al-Shabaab.
Yeah.
Overseas. So this guy has been at CBS for 9 years. He was at NBC prior to that. What did you do, Tony, to show that you had a loathing and objection to the way CBS News was covering everything? Because all I remember of Tony Dokoupil was he stood up to Ta-Nehisi Coates, who spent 10 days in Israel and then declared himself an expert on the oppression happening over there. And he did a good job of cross-examining him on his empty, meaningless, stupid-ass book when he went on one of the shows that they have on CBS that Tony was a part of, CBS Mornings. So he did a good job there. And then he got the evening news rule because he stood up for Israel. And Barry Weiss is now running CBS. And so she gave him the top job. Great. Okay. So I think we can expect him to stand up for Israel. And there is a lot of left-wing bias against Israel. So we'll look forward to seeing that. What else has Tony done? Seriously, what is a single instance in which he has stood up for the regular Joe on corporate media bias? None. Bullshit. This is fucking revisionist history meant to set him as the new truth teller. Where was he in the independent lane? Where was he standing up for people who are in the independent lane trying to tell the truth about media, about government, about the Biden administration? I don't remember you, Tony. So I find this utter bullshit condescension, Walter, and I do believe it will fucking fail, as all these networks are failing, because the audience has caught on to their bullshit.
Well, if they wanted to take a big swing, they would have hired Walter Kirn. He's sitting right here in front of you. And he has paid a very dear price for his dissent on these stories, frankly. I've lost jobs. I've lost friends. I've lost social standing among the people that used to bug me when I had to go to their parties. So that's no loss. But there are a lot of people who've lost a lot in this fight for the truth. And he's not really one of them, frankly.
Yeah. Walter Kirn, they would do a lot better. Now, speaking of people we love, you are definitely at the top of the list. A new year means new financial goals, like making sure your savings are secure and diversified. Will this be the year you decide to talk to someone from Birch Gold Group? They use an educational approach with a deep understanding of macroeconomics. There are forces pushing the dollar lower and gold higher, which is why they believe every American should own physical gold. So until January 30th, if you're a first-time gold buyer, Birch Gold is offering a rebate of up to $10,000 on qualifying purchases. To claim eligibility and start the process, you just text MK to the number 989898. Birch Gold can help you roll an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold, and you are still eligible for a rebate of up to $10,000. Consider making right now your first time to buy gold and take advantage of a rebate up to $10,000 when you buy before January 30th. Text MK to the number 989898. Claim your eligibility today. Again, text MK to 989898. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.